Hey everyone, Ariel Adams here with aBlogtoWatch. Please subscribe to our videos on YouTube and like this video if you find it useful. This is a review of the Sinn 358 Diapal. This is an interesting watch, and this sort of combines both some of Sinn's more modern technology features with a very classic look, which is sort of inspired by their 103. Now the 358 and the 103 have some notable differences, not too many. I'd say one of the biggest differences between the 358 and the 103 series is a lack of a rotating bezel. Also, the 103s tend to be a little bit smaller, but they're going to have similar hands and dial layouts, even though there's some differences. This one, as you can see, has a clean bezel. I happen to like the ones with a rotating bezel a little bit more, but some people prefer these, so I figured, why the hell not? I'll sort of choose this one. You know, I think that depending on who you are, a dial like this can look amazing or can look, you know, a little bit plain. But when you have the watch in front of you and you see just sort of how legible it is and how crisp everything is, it sells itself, because you really are able to appreciate just what a sort of good and legible and sort of timeless design this is. If you notice here, this isn't sort of a perfectly black watch. You have these black subdials and this grayish basic face. That's because this is one of their Diapal watches, and the Diapal versions of Sinn, at least for now, mostly have grayer versus completely black or solid color dials. So Diapal, as I've mentioned before in talking about Sinn, is where in the movement, Sinn replaces some of the ruby palettes with diamonds, round diamonds and industrial ones, and I believe there's certain parts like the escapement which are diamond coated, which allows them to last much longer and sort of just offers an overall more reliable watch that does not need to be serviced as often. The watch is 42 millimeters wide. Before I put it on, I'll show you there that you can see a view of the movement. Essentially, this is a very finely decorated and very well regulated, just sort of top grade Swiss Etta Valjoux 7750. This is as good as they sort of get in terms of. I'm sure there's some that are more nicely decorated, but this is really a top grade one. That it's not chronometer certified, because I don't think Sinn really does that. But I would be surprised if this wasn't accurate within sort of chronometric rating. It's not an exact 7750, because again they've added their Diapal. What they've also added is a second time zone hand, and this is actually kind of a neat feature that you get on some watches. So you see here, there's this other, looks like an hour hand that's just sort of a skeleton. The way this works is interesting. It's not a 24-hour hand, so it's not a GMT hand. It's another 12-hour hand that gives you a second time zone. But if you don't want it, what you can do is you can actually just hide it right underneath the normal hour hand. So when it's hidden under there, you just adjust the watch as normally, and it's just a standard 3-hand chronograph. But if you want, you can sort of, take that hand out and then just sort of put it on as a different time zone, which is cool. You don't get sort of AM, PM, but I just think it's really neat how that works. And I like that when you are using it, it's not really sort of too much in the way. So it's a great way of having another time zone there. Lume is really good. This version of the watch comes in steel. I don't know if there's titanium versions of the 358 or the 3 series. So there it is on the wrist. Very classic, very conservative, very legible, just a great tool watch. I mean, that's what Sinn does. That's what German watches are. They're great tool watches, and Sinn excels at it. The crystal is great, good AR coating, just sort of a lot for your money overall. This version, as you can see, comes on a metal bracelet. I don't know that the metal bracelet is the perfect bracelet for this watch. There's some other bracelets that Sinn makes that I like better. My concern is if you look right here and you look right here, it doesn't sort of flow properly. This part slopes down, and then this part sort of starts here. That might have to do with the fact that my wrists are small, and this bracelet is designed to sort of fit on a larger wrist, so it moves out a little bit. That's possible. So if you have smaller wrists, you might want to think about putting this on a leather strap or rubber strap, or maybe there's a different bracelet option that might be better. Just something to consider with this. This 358 also has the small capsule there, the humidity capsule that changes color if there's too much humidity that gets in the case. That's a nice little feature to have. So it's just overall a great tool watch. Sinn does a good job at that. They have so many different models. I do have a Sinn in my collection. There's more I'd like to get. if you are, like I said, a tool watch lover, you like dive watches, aviation watches, whatever, it's difficult to not have a Sinn watch in your collection because they do such a good job, and I think you'll be really genuinely impressed with what they're able to do for the money. Just a really cool brand. Fortunately, I hear that in September 2014 they're raising their prices. I don't know how much, but your best bet is still going, I think, to one of their dealers, or you can go directly to Sinn and get the watches from them. So they do have a nice direct-to-consumer sales model. They make great watches. I think they're improving when it comes to things like customer service because they're not just as set up for that. But give them a chance. I don't think you'll be disappointed. Anyways, the Sinn 358. This version on the bracelet retails for about 3,075 euros, a little bit less on the leather or rubber strap, and you can see the full review on aBlogtoWatch soon. Thanks.